What's up guys, this is Elon here. In this video I'm going to talk about how OSHA applies to the garage door industry. So let's begin. So while there is no specific regulation for the garage door or overhead door industry in the OSHA playbook, but there are general rules that do apply to the overall industry of construction and maintenance work. So that's what we're going to talk about, see what part of the OSHA rules apply to us. So the first one, it's something that I'm sure everybody does, and that will be the ladder safety. It requires 3 points of contacts at all time. So what that means is whether you have 2 legs on the ladder and 1 hand on the ladder, or 2 hands on the ladder and one leg on the ladder. So you have 3 points of contact. Next one will be fall protection. So fall protection only applies when you're working in areas that are 6 feet above the ground. So that does not mean the ladder is 6 feet off the ground, is where you're working is 6 feet off the ground. So to give you an example, we had a few jobs where the overhead door was sitting like on the 2nd or 3rd floor, and they use it to boom lift materials in for their operation and whatnot. So that would be an example. So when you're working on that dock door, the overhead door that's sitting 6 foot above ground, that means you gotta have safety harnesses, and it gets very complicated. And I'm sure if you have done those before, the people on site, the contractor, would not let you do the job without it. So that's another rule where OSHA applies to our trade. So the next one will be electricity related. If you're working on an electrical component, the power gotta be off. Whether it's unplugged or the part of the building is off, you take your pick, but that is what OSHA says. So the last one would be PPE, and safety glasses are actually required by OSHA. I'm not sure what else to say about that. It's what I was able to gather and from experience, but that is a requirement. And the last thing about PPE, they do encourage wearing gloves, but it is not a requirement. Now, side note, we tell our guys to wear gloves. We hope that they wear gloves. We provide them with gloves. Do they always wear it? Probably not, but we definitely encourage it. So last thing I want to cover in this video are the most common violations. So the next one will be PPE. So there's a few things that are absolutely required, and for OSHA, and then there's other things that you probably know are required per job site. So not necessarily when you go do a repair at somebody's houses, someone's house. So for example, safety glasses are mandatory for all jobs according to OSHA, while gloves are highly recommended but are not mandatory, and we highly encourage our guys to wear gloves. And then when you go to construction site, the hat, vest, steel-toe boot normally are mandatory. Sometimes you can get away with steel-toe boot, but they would not let you on commercial jobs. A contractor would not let you in without a hat and a vest. So whether you send your team with it or they're gonna have someone site, but that's absolutely mandatory on commercial sites. So what are the most common OSHA violations? One of them will be when you work 6 feet off the ground, you don't have safety harnesses and so on. So that'll be a very common one. Now, regardless, I think you should. And when you're standing, here, and right here is a drop, you probably should have some safety. Next thing will be PPE. And we covered it. So safety glasses and hats and vests are the easy ones that you could get busted on with OSHA. And the last one will be damaged ladders. Damaged ladders, regardless, you should always be worried about. You don't want your guys to get injured, but don't find a ladder off the street and start using it. You see it on the side of the road, it's a $400 ladder, and you pick it up thinking you got a gold mine. Be careful. Those things are dangerous. It's not worth it. All right, guys, this is it for this video. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.